Welcome to another true wireless earbud review. Today I'm reviewing the iTechnic IK007, or 007s for short. Hey, I bought these earbuds directly from Amazon for $39. These have a lot of features for $39, and I never reviewed an iTechnic product before, so strap in, let's find out together if these are worth the 39 bucks or not. I'm going to cover an unboxing. I'm going to do their feature set. I'm talk about their latency, their max volume, their sound quality, and where these rank in my Mic Series playlist. Whether you're new to my channel or a regular, thanks for watching, sharing, and subscribing. Hey, there's very little information on the box of the IK BH007, but it is a small box, and in opening it up, we have both a quick reference start guide and a full user manual. The start guide includes a pictorial view of pairing, powering on, connecting, using the earbud controls. But you better get your glasses on, people, because these fonts are tiny. Now, the full user manual includes all that information and more, like how to reset the earbuds in 5 languages. Inside the rest of the box, we've got a USB-C charging cable and 2 extra silicone ear tips. The 007's case is a tiny capsule-shaped case with the iTechnic logo imperceptibly etched on the lid. The 3 charging status indicator lights, and I really like the fact that there are 3 lights, because each one basically represents one additional charge of the earbuds, one additional full charge of the earbuds, and a USB-C charging port. Now this case compares nicely with my Hot Wheels car. It's showing you some perspective in how small this case is. It fits really nicely in that 5th pocket of my jeans. I barely noticed that it's in there. The lid is held strongly in place by the magnets, and the lid stays open very well. I also really like the indentations on the inside of the lid because these will help keep the buds well positioned on their charging contact points. Now the buds themselves are pretty slippery, but there's a lot of surface area exposed inside the case, and it should be easy enough to get them out of the case, and they seem to sit on their contact points very easily. They don't charge wirelessly, but the buds do last 10 hours per charge and about 40 hours with the charging case. One additional full charge per those 3 lights on the case. The 007s have an IPX rating of 8, which is a maximum rating for IPX, right? This means that they're waterproof and submergible even for about 30 minutes. Now the 007's design reminds me of the MPOW M12s, the Bowmaker Sci-Fis, and if I had to stretch it a little bit, the Tozo T12s, but the Tozo T12s are a much larger earbud. This design is going to block a lot of ambient noise naturally, and in my experience with the 007s, they block a lot of ambience noise. In fact, these earbuds suck into my ears and form a super solid seal, so strong that I have to be very careful how I pull them out of my ears, because if I just pop them out of my ears, they will literally pop the seal in my ears, and that kind of leaves a ringing in my ears that really bothers me. So just be careful with how you pull these out of your ears if you get that experience like I do with the seal. Now the only way that I could use these earbuds for running or working out is, again, I have to choose a much smaller pair of ear tips to prevent that seal. Now that's going to be very unique to your ears, may not happen at all, but for me that's what happens. So for me, these are far from my best or first choice for running or high impact workouts. I recognize that a lot of people really like to have this deep set feeling and this level of isolation from their earbuds and the resulting sound that comes from it. So if that's what you're into, you will like these earbuds for their fit. Now these earbuds have 1 microphone on each bud, but they do somehow include CVC8 noise canceling technology. That's pretty uncommon to have CVC8 noise canceling mics and only 1 mic per earbud. But later in the video, I'll give you an outdoor mic sample with some traffic in the background, and you can decide for yourself how well they work. Now these earbuds support aptX for high definition audio, and I don't see anything indicating that they have AAC support, so Apple users beware. But oddly, in the manual, they do mention Siri when referencing the voice assistant, so I do expect there's a recognition that Apple users are going to use these earbuds, but there's still no mention of AAC anywhere in the manual or on the Amazon listing, so Apple users beware. But with that aptX on and watching Netflix, Disney Plus, and other various YouTube videos, these don't lag while watching movies. They seem to be pretty darn good. Now, I played Hitman Sniper and Call of Duty Mobile with these earbuds, and they definitely lag. That's all I'm going to say about that. Let's sit back and check out my latency test with aptX on and off. And remember, my latency test is best used as a comparison to other buds that I've performed the latency test against, not as a validation of the manufacturer's speed claims. Now, the latency with aptX on for these earbuds looks like it's about 400 milliseconds, but check the screen graphic for my most accurate measurement. And now let's turn off aptX and run the same test. That is looking like a little bit more than 400 milliseconds, but again, check the screen graphics for the final measurement of aptX on and off latency. So the touch controls on the 007s control everything, including the volume and accessing your preferred assistant. Other than that long press that calls up the assistant, there aren't any audible tones for touch commands. But they are pretty responsive, except for the fact that I have noticed with these earbuds, for whatever reason, calling up the assistant isn't always working. It fails maybe 25% of the time, which is kind of more than I've noticed in other earbuds, and I don't know if it's kind of a state that my phone is in, but I notice it fairly regularly with these, that calling up the assistant makes the sound like it's going to call up the assistant, but it never actually calls up the assistant. Your match may vary, I suppose, but that's my experience. Now, the Bluetooth range on these is absolutely huge at 110 feet. Now, I connect these to a Pixel 4 XL, and I don't have connection issues. That's a pretty new phone. And in fact, 110 feet, I didn't really even have a clip out, but I really can't measure much further than that with the measuring device that I have. And while I was standing there running out the measurement, I could hear the clip outs happening occasionally. So about 110 feet, pretty awesome range. Now, both of these earbuds will work in mono mode, but they are not multi-point. So let's now measure the max volume of these. But I'll tell you before we get into the max volume measurement, that these earbuds at the one step above mute are very, very, very quiet. But you go to the second or third click above mute, and the volume on these earbuds is already getting pretty loud. And they get way, way louder than I would ever listen to music. But doing the unofficial measurement test with my super old school measurement device, it looks like they're about 105 decibels. And that is pretty darn loud in the grand scheme of true wireless earbuds. But check the on-screen graphic for the final, most accurate measurement. So let's talk about sound quality. You can check out my playlist for testing sound quality on Spotify. I'll link to it in the video description. And also you can find it on my website under this webpage where I review the whole write-up of the IK007s. Now, I want to remind everybody in this review that these are $39 earbuds. So, if you're going to ask me in the questions how these would compare to a dual driver earbud, and you know who they are, they're usually more expensive. In fact, they're always more expensive and can be much more expensive. Don't compare these to a dual driver earbud. They do not sound as good. And if it's in your budget and fidelity is your goal, step up to a dual driver earbud, or at least step up to another more expensive earbud with some other features that might be important to you, like ANC or ambient mode. But for $39, let's talk about the sound quality, right? These are really good for listening to things like Stevie Ray Vaughan and Tin Pan Alley. The guitar, the soundstage, the depth of the sound, that's all really good. But there's just the slightest muffle or recession to his voice and to most male vocals that I hear in these earbuds. It just gives me a little bit of a pause about how strongly I would recommend these for sound quality. Now, with female vocals like in Moloko's I Want You, I don't have that reservation. I mean, everything sounds good here in Moloko's I Want You, but except for some of that mid-bass punch. And because of that, and because of what I hear about the male vocals, I'm going to guess that there's some kind of a recession or pullback on the about 100 to 200 hertz range that I would prefer was a little bit more pushed forward. Now, let me say that again. I would prefer. Others may not prefer, but I just notice it just a little bit. And let's dig a little bit deep into the bass of these earbuds. In Down by Marianne Hill, that bass drop at 57 seconds, the bass definitely rumbles and thumps pretty nicely. So that sub bass comes in strong and very reasonable for $39 earbuds. I really can't complain about the bass for $39 earbuds. So let me wrap it up. For $39, in my opinion, you're getting a solid sounding bud with decent bass, soundstage, and very good high frequencies from the female vocals all the way on up to like cymbals and even bagpipes. In AC/DCs, it's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll. Now, I'm going to switch gears for a minute. Let's do a quick comparison of those similarly shaped earbuds that I mentioned. Similarly, easy for you to say. Look, that less expensive MPOW M12, that similarly priced Bowmaker Sci-Fi 2, and the more expensive but much larger Tozo T12. Now, these IK007s, they rule over all these competitors in the small case size that they bring to bear. And the battery life is far superior at 10 hours and 40 hours with the case, plus they're the only bud in that group of earbuds that has aptX whatsoever. However, they do trail in the fact that the M12 and the Tozo T12s both have wireless charging, and compared to the more expensive Tozo T12s, the T12s also bring in much stronger bass and sub-bass and much better microphones. The IK007s are pretty competitive with all of them on a sound quality level, with the exception of those Tozos having a lot more bass. If you want to know more about that comparison, you should check out my videos for the M12, the Sci-Fi 2, and the Tozo T12 in the in-video links. What can I say about the IK007s? If you're a fan of small cases, these are a really great option. I haven't been seeing cases this small for quite a while, and these are a really nice, well-done small case. But I would never, ever pay more than $39 for these earbuds, and I think they would be better priced under $30 to compete more with the likes of the M-POW M12. Now maybe that's unfair, because the M12 don't have some of these features that probably cost more, like CVC8 noise-canceling mics and aptX, but to me that's the price point that they should more strongly competing in. They're a decent bud from a sound quality perspective for this price, and the aptX definitely works well for movies. On the flip side, who shouldn't buy these earbuds? Gamers. Gamers should not buy these earbuds. Now, if case size doesn't matter to you and you have a bigger budget and you're looking for better sound, I think you can step up from these and get a better sounding bud for just a little bit more money. And if you're looking for ANC or ambient mode, you're definitely going to have to up your budget and step up a little higher and pay for a little bit more. But at this $39 price point, they're pretty darn competitive. Lastly, here's a phone call sample of a fairly busy street using the CVC8 mics in the iTechnic IK007s.
This is a microphone test of the iTechnic IK-BH007 over a phone call to my Google voicemail. iTechnic put CVC8 noise-canceling mics into the IK-BH007, and let's see how well they pick up my voice over some background traffic.
Thanks for watching my review of the iTechnic IK007s.